TaKe. Late at night, in Japan's train stations and along empty streets, there's a sound that makes people's blood run cold. A strange scratching noise, getting closer and closer. TaKe. They say she was once a schoolgirl, beautiful and full of life. Until that day at the train station, when she fell or was pushed onto the tracks. The train cut her body in half at the waist. They thought that was the end of her story. They were wrong. Now she moves through the night, dragging her upper body along the ground with her elbows, her nails scraping against the pavement. TaKe, that's the sound she makes as she pursues her victims, moving faster than any human can run. Her beautiful face twisted into a grotesque smile, her eyes filled with malice. A young man was walking home late one night when he heard the sound. TaKe, getting closer. When he looked back, he saw her, a young woman in a school uniform, dragging herself along the ground at impossible speed. Her lower half was missing, and where her waist should have been, there was only gore and twisted metal. He ran, but she was faster. They found him the next morning, cut in half just like her. Some say she carries a scythe of gleaming steel, the same kind of metal that severed her own body. Others claim she uses her unnaturally sharp nails, now stained permanently red with the blood of her victims. But all agree if you hear that sound at night, you have only seconds to escape. A high school girl was waiting alone at a train station. She heard about TaKe, but thought it was just another urban legend. Until she heard the sound. TaKe. She looked down at the platform edge and saw two pale hands gripping the concrete. Then a head slowly rose into view, long black hair hanging down, concealing the face. As the figure pulled itself up onto the platform, the hair parted, revealing a face that might once have been beautiful, now frozen in a terrifying grin. The girl tried to run, but TaKe was too fast. As she moved with that horrible scratching sound, a gleam of metal flashed in her hand. The last thing the girl saw was that twisted smile as the scythe swung through the air. They say she appears most often at night, but she's been seen during the day too, hiding in the shadows beneath stairwells or lurking on train platforms. Some victims report seeing her on second-story walkways or elevated train stations, defying gravity as she drags herself along walls and ceilings. A businessman was working late one night in his second-floor office. He heard the sound outside his window. TaKe. When he looked up, she was there, pressed against the glass, her long hair whipping in the wind, her face contorted in that terrible smile. Her nails scratched against the window as she mouthed the words, "Should I split you in half?" There are rules for surviving an encounter with TaKe. If you hear that sound, you have only moments to act. You must look for higher ground. She can't climb stairs quickly, though she can move along walls. Some say if you can answer her questions correctly, she might let you live. But no one who's met her has survived to confirm this. One story tells of a group of students who encountered her late at night. They heard the sound approaching from both directions. TaKe. When they looked, they saw not one, but two figures dragging themselves along the ground, moving faster and faster, their sights glinting in the street. The students were trapped between them. No one ever saw those students again. The most terrifying part? If TaKe catches you, you don't just die. You become like her, cursed to spend eternity dragging your severed body through the night, hunting for new victims. That's why there seem to be more and more sightings every year. Her victims join her endless hunt, their own tortured souls adding to the legion of half-bodied spirits that haunt Japan's stations and streets. Some say you can hear her coming by the sound of her nails or elbows scraping against the ground. Others claim she moves in complete silence until the last moment, when her victims hear the terrible sound right behind them. TaKe. Train station workers have reported strange scratching sounds in empty stations late at night. Security cameras sometimes catch glimpses of something dragging itself through the shadows, moving too fast for the human eye to follow. And sometimes, in the quietest hours of the night, people hear the sound of metal scraping against concrete, getting closer and closer. If you're walking alone at night in Japan, and you hear that sound TaKe, don't look back. Run. Run as fast as you can. Because if you see her face, if you glimpse that twisted smile, it's already too late. The last thing you'll hear is that terrible sound getting closer and closer until TaKe.